It's another game day here at Cardinals Field as the Newport Gulls are coming off a 13-6 win last night in Mystic against the Schooners. It was a game where Newport went down early, left a lot of runners on the bases, but by the end of the night, Newport was the ones with the last laugh, winning 13-6, scoring 11 unanswered against a struggling Mystic bullpen. They were able to capitalize off some walks and free passes along with some wild pitches and stolen bases to manufacture runs at a high rate in that 6th and 7th inning in the win last night against Mystic. They host the Martha's Vineyard Sharks here at Cardinals Field for the second home game of the year. Newport won their first home game against Vermont 2 nights ago, but Martha's Vineyard comes in from the island 1-1. This is their first road game of the year. They're going to have to take on a hungry and hot Newport Gulls team with Marcel Kulik on the mound, who hopes to do the job for Newport tonight. Tune in all night long, but more for the pregame here. My name's Gavin Bisho on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back here pregame at Cardinals Field before Newport and Martha's Vineyard are set to take the field here at first pitch, 6:35 p.m. on ESPN+. I'm joined alongside the Assistant Director of Entertainment here at Cardinals Field, Scott Cooper. Tonight's a big one. It's Little League night here at Cardinals Field. You're wearing your Middletown Islanders hat, kind of sporting that, but a big night, and it's really big for the community as well to get all the kids and the teams together.
Yeah, of course. I mean, growing up here, local kid, coming to the Cardinals every day, and even you, Gavin, we were, Portsmouth kid, a little rivalry action. Yeah. I've had fond memories of Little League coming here, even just the summer camps themselves, having so much joy coming out, and now playing on these fields growing up. I'm like, these kids are gonna mean something one day, even if they go on to play collegiately, even in high school. So I know there's a lot of joy, happiness throughout for these kids, and I'm just excited to be a part of it. Come down here, last year, just hanging out, seeing it for the first time, and now moving up in the world and kind of now having the lead of, hey, kind of rock the night yourself and make it your own thing.
Yeah, Scott, as you mentioned, we had a couple of back and forth back in middle school and high school, but now we're here on the same team, on the same Gulls team. But when you come to Cardinals Field, you certainly can't miss not only the on-field performance, but the in-between innings, the activities going on the field, the entertainment for the fans is really an all-encompassing event, not just for the players on the field, but also the fans in the stands.
Of course. I mean, our renowned gully race in the 6th inning, and then you race the bases in the 4th, even though sometimes we take a deep breath as we worry as a kid might hit themselves, or my personal favorite, the donut eating competition, our second bit. We have a new one this year. We have basically toss and ping pong, so it's made paint can sponsored by Smythe Painting this year. It replaced our dance-off. I mean, I loved the dance-off as a kid, but now I'm like, the paint cans and the ping pong, I'm like, you know what, that's a better act to follow. But of course, like I was mentioned, in the 2nd inning with the Moz Donuts, it's just a rivalry. You see the big donut. Kids are like, oh, I'm going to house it all. And next thing you know, they start going, and you're like, that kid's going to puke. Yeah. But at the same time, it's just good fun, all-around fun throughout the gully race and race the bases and all these fun in-between games. Kind of learn the Gulls themselves in the 7th with Guess the Gull. Quote-unquote, tonight's big guy is Drew DeLucia. Spoiler alert. And name the tune, me and our director, Ryan Cox, who couldn't unfortunately be here tonight. We're just coming up with new games so we can work together as a team and how we can give back to the fans of Cardinals.
As you mentioned, plenty of phenomenal things going on in between the game play, and that's what brings to kind of the aura and the vibe here at Cardinals Field. Well, Scott, thank you so much. Good luck tonight. You have a lot on your hands, a lot of little leaguers I heard earlier, but
thank you again.
Glad to have you. Stay tuned for more. Randy Seymour is here next pregame on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
welcome back to the Newport Gulls pregame show. I'm Matt Tiernan alongside Randy Seymour, the player of the game from yesterday's 13-6 win over Mystic. Randy, you had 3 hits, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs. What was going well for you last night?
I mean, just sticking with an approach, really. I mean, me and Teddy Ballgames were working on staying on top of the ball a little bit because losing the barrel the last 2 games, so stuck to that approach and ended up working out.
And only 3 games in so far. The first one was a 1-0 loss, not high scoring, and then it held off Vermont the other night, and then last night a come from behind victory over Mystic. What have you learned about this group of guys so far?
I mean, they're gritty for sure. I mean, it's when you're down. We were down 5 yesterday, and that's hard to come back from. And just the character that we show, and I mean, only 3 games in, but it seems like this is a fun group of guys.
And I know this isn't your first season with the Gulls. You were a part of the championship last year. You got some new guys here, some returners. What makes you believe that this is the group that can complete the three-peat in 2025?
I mean, all starts in the top, all the same coaching staff. We got guys like Drew DeLucia, who's absolutely dominant on the mound, that's just going to keep going all year for us. And then we got a bunch of new guys who are just electric, just like the same thing last year. And it's going to be an exciting year. That's all I know.
All right, Randy, good luck tonight. Thank you. Back to you, Gavin.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel as though spring has sprung.
We harness the very latest technologies to help our patients live their best lives.
'Cause you make me feel so. You make me feel so. You make me feel so.
We are South Coast Health.
We're back here pregame on the NECBO Broadcast Network. I'm Gavin Bisho, joined alongside Newport Gulls pitching coach Kevin Smith. Coach, thank you for taking the time. So far through 3 games, your pitching staff has done a pretty good job, especially in the strikeout department. 38 Ks and 27 innings pitched. It's been a great start for you guys on the mound that way.
Yes, no doubt, but you know, I'm a guy that you know, I look at the run total and what we've given up to and a few walks and things like that. I mean, there's always room for improvement, but the kids have really done well. They've done, especially to start off, and we're throwing, 3 starters or 3 pitchers every game, and so it's a little tough in that area, but you know, the pitchers know I'm only going 3, and instead of, then they're used to going 5, 6, 7. So yeah, they've done a good job. I'm proud of them.
So making that adjustment seems to be really big, but I want to talk about last night, especially the 2 relievers for the Gulls. Starting with Cato Leary, after that home run he let up in the 4th, he really settled in and almost had a perfect 6th inning against Mystic, but that was a great performance with 6 strikeouts. And then Aiden O'Connell follows that up with 6 strikeouts of his own, going 3 innings to finish the game out. Those are 2 unbelievable performances that kind of kept your team in the game, and then they were able to close it out in the end when you guys had the lead.
Yep, that's, you know, basically the job of the pitcher. I mean, you're gonna, as I say all the time, baseball's based on failure, and you're gonna fail. Pitcher's gonna give up a home run, a pitcher's gonna walk somebody, but it's how you react and how you move on, you know, from that kind of situation. And yeah, they did it. O'Connell was nails. I mean, absolutely money, as I like saying.
So O'Connell was money. So we bring it to today, where we have Marcel Kulik on the mound for Newport. What should fans expect from him today on the bump?
Just to throw strikes, get ground balls, and get out and have, you know, quick innings and keep the pitch count down. That's the main thing, especially early in the summer.
Well, if you want to see how Marcel does, tune in at 6:35 for first pitch as the Gulls take on the the Martha Vineyard Sharks. Coach, thank you so much for the time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
More from the NECBO Broadcast Network pregame here at Cardings Field. Time for baseball here in Newport at Cardines Field as the Newport Gulls play host to the Martha's Vineyard Sharks here in Newport, Rhode Island, alongside Liam Stevens and Matt Tiernan. I'm Gavin Beecher. Thank you so much for tuning in. Liam, both of these teams had a similar start. Game one, there was really no presence of an offense, but both teams seemed to battle back. Same for Vineyard last night in their win against Bristol.
Absolutely. Only 3 runs on 3 hits in the first game. They come back with a 10 spot last night at Bristol. Complete domination on both sides, both pitching and hitting. As for the Gulls, a very similar story. We got a 1-0 loss in the season opener, and since then it's been fireworks, hasn't it?
They've done a great job scoring runs. It was firepower in the home opener against Vermont that got them starting, and they used some small ball to take down the Mountaineers, who try to come back after being down 5-0, but then Newport, who was down 6-2 last night, 11 straight unanswered runs, including 9 combined in the 6th and the 7th innings, was enough to take down Mystic on the road in a 13-6 victory. We'll get into a little more following a national break here from Cardines Field. Don't go anywhere. First pitch, just moments away. Here at Cardines Field, the Gulls have taken the field. Get set for game number 4 here in Newport. The Gulls 2-1 on the year. Vineyard coming in at 1-1, both games on the island. They move island to island now here on Aquidneck Island as they take on the Gulls in their first road matchup of the year. And Matt, I want to talk to you here for a quick second because Newport, especially in the 6 innings yesterday in relief, did a great job of quieting the Mystic Schooner bats. And as Liam pointed to earlier in this pregame, Vineyard put up 10 runs last night. Newport's going to need more of that pitching presence tonight against the Sharks.
Absolutely. It's going to be good to see what Marcel Kulik can do on the mound for us. The freshman from Eastchester, New York, spent his first season at Virginia Tech. This is going to be a good opportunity to come out and put up some zeros on the board for the Sharks.
And Kulik pitched in 13 games this season for Virginia Tech, totaling 14 innings for middle to lower of the pack ACC team that did not make the NCAA tournament, but he's going to take on a Martha's Vineyard lineup that's hungry to get back out on the field and make an impact. If you want to go through the lineup here for Martha's Vineyard, Liam, and what we should expect at the dish for the Sharks.
Absolutely. The top of this lineup has meant contact and running the base pass. Braden Martin leading off for the Sharks, 5 for 5 reaching in his last night against Bristol, scoring 3 runs and bringing 2 home. After him, it'll be Will Hampton and Will Liebrook, but Martin doing his due diligence as a leadoff man so far. We'll see if he can continue it today. 500
batting average through a pair of games. First pitch on the way is low and outside. Kulik has fastball, cutters, changeup. It's got some more movement going down, so it's a cutter slash changeup, and then a slider as well in the arsenal for the right-hander. As his second pitch finds the zone, a strike, says home plate umpire Keith Peterson. On the bags, Brenton Petrowski and Will Bowers are your umpires tonight, as Newport in their Friday orange uniforms looking good on the field as the 1-1 pitch escapes low and in to Braden Martin, who you mentioned has done a great job as a leadoff man early on. He'll try to test his luck in a lefty on righty matchup versus the Virginia Tech Hokie on the mound for the Gulls, but also played for Martha's Vineyard last year. A very good piece of that Sharks team that made the playoffs.
Yeah, played 38 games for the Sharks last year, 126 at-bats, and he has only improved since then. Last year at College Park, set second most walks in program history.
How about that? Getting on base, that's kind of what you want out of a leadoff man, along as 19 stolen bases last year for Martha's Vineyard as well. So if he gets on the bags, look for him to maybe swipe a couple. Already has 2 on the year. But right now he faces a 2-2 count against Marcel Kulik as he holds off on a pitch in the dirt.
Goes without saying, Martin is more than happy to watch many balls miss outside that strike zone. Loves the patient approach.
You know, of course, especially as your leadoff man, that's kind of what you're tasked to do. Get a couple of looks at the pitcher, give your second 3-hole hitters a chance to get a look at what Kulik can do. As there's a ball slapped the other way, Seymour makes the play onto first and in time for out number 1. Randy Seymour has been great all year at shortstop. He's buckled it up there as the captain of the infield, and another example to start off the game here against the Sharks.
Seymour coming off of his best game so far. Player of the match yesterday, had 3 hits, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs. Good start there for him.
And he's someone that we'll talk more at the plate. Likes to be patient as well in the 2-hole. But right now it's Will Hampton, the center fielder at the dish. Another lefty to start for Martha's Vineyard, led by Peyton Fuller in his first season. Other side, Mike Coombs in his 14th. So it's a different look at the managers, but in terms of experience, I'm certain that Fuller very excited to take on this new challenge here with Martha's Vineyard as Hampton fouls one back into the fencing behind home plate. Little League night here at Cardings Field. Lots of youngsters who came from their respective towns to represent their teams, and had maybe around 100 surrounding the infield prior to first pitch here as the count goes to 2-1. Another great atmosphere here in Newport, Rhode Island following an opening day where we saw 2,700 fans enter the stadium by first pitch. It was a great atmosphere on hand, and that's part of the Newport charm here in the NECBL. Try to get as many fans to the ballpark, involve as many demographics as you can. 3-1 offering, misses outside yet again, and a 1-out walk puts the first base runner on for the Sharks.
It's the 3rd walk for Hampton through 5 at-bats, so this top of the Sharks lineup really sticking with that patient approach.
Now up next is William Lybrook, who's over at first. Another returner for Martha's Vineyard, batted .247 last year in the summer, but saw 36 games this year at Harvard, batting .245 with 13 RBIs. But he had a standout year 2 seasons ago where he was a second-team All-Ivy selection. So you watch his strike 1 over the heart of the plate. Kulik trying to get the fastball going early. He's missed up and out to lefties, but now he'll face his first righty in Lybrook. We'll see how the approach changes for the Virginia Tech Hokie on the mound. Runner goes. It's Hampton. Throw down, not in time, as sliding in safely is Will Hampton, and a runner in scoring position already with 1 down here in the top of the first. With that, we're bringing the defensive alignment here for the Newport Gulls following the pitch, as it's now Will Fosberg behind the dish in his first game out of Northeastern. First game on the season. There's a slight pause, and now play will resume here. That pitch was a strike. It's an 0-2 count, as it'll be a big strikeout or out, regardless of how you can get it for Kulik with a runner on second. Pitch comes home. Check swing. Did he go? Yeah. No, strike 2 actually. So he did go around. No, strike 3. There was confusion on that last pitch on the stolen base was a ball or a strike. Home plate umpire Keith Peterson clears it up. It was 0-2, and then the check swing that went around is strike out for Will Lybrook. Brings up Jack Killalea, as out in the outfield, Ryan Novak, Matt Bolton, and Shane Williams from left to right. In the infield, Ty Stecco at third base, Randy Seymour at short, Kyle Garbowski at second, Petey Kraska at first, and Lewis behind the dish. Fosberg in the DH role on the other side for Newport, as a nice breaking ball hits the outside corner for Kulik. He's up 0-1. Killalea, the backstop for the Sharks this evening to start. In the cleanup spot, can plate a runner with the base hit. Here's the pitch. Just misses the outside corner. Good miss for Kulik. It's 1-1. right now so far, Liam, we're seeing these hitters be pretty patient so far. We saw Martin and Hampton kind of wait until Kulik attacked them early on.
Absolutely. Base runners means runs as that one's chopped.
And a Baltimore chop to the left side. Stecco ranging to his left. Not in time. Play at the plate. Is not in time either. Sliding under the tag is Will Hampton. A great read from the center fielder who makes a quick turn from third to home. It was a bang bang at both places, and in both situations, the Sharks cash in.
Boy, Hampton jumped on that opportunity. He didn't slow at all rounding third.
Not at all, and so it's a 5-3-2 single with the fielder's choice. The throw not in time, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Sharks. And here's a shot to the right side. Kraska makes the grab back at first after 2 games at third. Spent last night at first, back where he belongs, and shows the glove to start off this ball game, but not before the Sharks tack on a run and get an early head start on the Gulls as we head to the home half of the first. Newport with work to do here from Cardines Field. You're watching the New England League.
One more disappointment, added to the ones you left behind. There he goes, on a second, got it. One is gone, 2-run shot for the lead. This young man has played. The payoff is crushed. Turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the bars in the brakes. I'm talking one chance at best, yes. Painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the camera, work the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is a teacher under pressure, now we blessed. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
1-0, the Sharks lead. First opportunity to see Chase kick on the mound for Martha's Vineyard and Liam. With him on the mound in a 1-run game, a little more of a padding than obviously Kulik had at 0-0, but you have Kick coming in out of Clemson. He's the man on the mound. It's someone that Fuller trusts to go here against Newport on the road.
Absolutely, and as coming out of Clemson as a first-year freshman, Kick, not too much experience with the Tigers. It's going to take all the comfortability he can get on the mound in his first action this summer for the Sharks.
Yeah, only appeared in 9 games, but total 12 innings and allowed just over an earned run per inning that he saw. So a big opportunity to develop here in the New England League as he takes on his first batter of the summer. It's going to be Matt Bolton out of Binghamton, who joined the team yesterday. Played a good center field, made a couple great grabs and good jumps out in Mystic in the win yesterday. Following him up, Randy Seymour, Petey Kraska, Ryan Novak, Dre Lewis, Will Fosberg, Kyle Garbowski, Ty Stecco, and Shane Williams rounds out the 9 in the lineup for Newport as a similar start for Kick as in Kulik, and it's a fastball high and away for ball 1 to the hitter Bolton. 2 hits yesterday in the win over the Schooners for Matt Bolton with an RBI and a walk as the count evens up and a ball and a strike. At Levittown, New York. He watches ball 2. A good glove out in center field. Is able to shift some players back to where they belong in the Newport defense as that one's chopped foul. Newport had some unorthodox lineups the first couple of games. We saw a pitcher playing first base. We saw a first baseman playing at third in the form of Petey Kraska. Stecco, who likes to play infield, was out in left. So now that Bolton is in the lineup, who hits one into left center field. Back is Mascolo at the track, makes the grab for a loud out number 1 for Newport. And that will give way to Randy Seymour, and we can touch on him as someone who gets on base a lot. And Matt, earlier on, you interviewed him, and obviously after yesterday's game, 3 for 6, a pair of RBIs and a double. But how about this? Yesterday, he faced not 1, not 2, but 3 full counts. And 2 days ago, he faced a full count in almost every at-bat. So that's 7 full counts in the last 2 games he's faced in 7 different at-bats, and he watches ball 1.
Well, that comes with, and we know he's not new to the Gulls organization. A 2024 champion with the Gulls. This isn't new to Randy, so see what he can do here.
And quickly up 2-0 is Seymour out of Michigan State. He's got a hit in each of the games he's played in. Tries to extend that streak, and he hits one down the right field line high. As going to his left is Hepworth at the shed. He makes the grab for out number 2 as we kind of get blocked off of our angle down the right field line. And as high and shallow that ball looked, it came about 20 feet from the right field fence. How about that?
My first time at this ballpark, and I got to say, what a unique makeup. I had no idea where that ball was going, and it was almost a home run.
Exactly, and I thought it might have gone foul, but the wind from behind us keeping it in play, as it's not a foul line that you necessarily have to worry about if you're Hepworth, but a massive shed that's out there in right field to make sure not collide into. So another kind of caveat here at Cardines Field, as here comes the heavy hitter, Petey Kraska. He watches a ball in the dirt. Last time here at Cardines Field, he had a couple hits and homered in the 3rd inning against Vermont 2 nights ago. He's up 2-0 in a spot that he likes. Kick pierced through his glove, now comes home with the 2-0. That ball sliced foul and on to America's Cup Boulevard. On deck, Ryan Novak, who's still looking for hit number 1 on the year. Kraska hoping to spark a 2-out rally for the Gulls. A swing and a miss evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Deuces are wild here from Cardines Field as the fog begins to roll in a little bit from the bag to our left. Pitch inside. So as the count runs full, it reminds me of yesterday where Mystic was one of those teams that were able to produce runs with 2 outs and no one on, put on a good rally, and that gave them the lead early on. We'll see if Newport can have similar success. It starts with 1, though. Here comes the payoff pitch. Cut on and tipped into the glove of Kilauea, and a 1-2-3 inning for Chase Kitt keeps the Sharks in the league as we head into inning number 2 from Cardines. It's Sharks 1, Gulls nothing.
Member of the RI National Guard.
Back here at Cardines Field as the Sharks of Martha's Vineyard on their first road trip of the season hold a 1-0 lead here in the 2nd inning. Thank you so much for tuning in on your Friday evening, which was once a beautiful afternoon, has been covered with fog and clouds here at Cardines Field. Just a change of weather you see in Newport regularly, especially in June early on, as that shift from spring to summer starts to set in alongside Liam Stevens and Matt Tiernan. I'm Gavin Bishow, and early on, it's the Sharks striking first and using the speed that we talked about. It was a stolen base from Hampton and then an aggressive round around 3rd to score on an infield single.
Absolutely. What we've known so far from this Sharks lineup is they're going to be patient at the plate and aggressive on the base paths.
Harley Goodner, the 6-hole hitter at Duke University, and the 3rd baseman for the Sharks at the dish for the first time. He's just 1 out of 5 straight righty bats in this Vineyard lineup, starting with William Liebrook from last inning. We'll go through the on-deck hitter, Kyle Cincinnati, as the count is 1-1 following the fastball that goes upstairs to Goodner. Check swing, looked like he went. Yes, he did, says the umpire down the first baseline. And now the count goes to 1-2. Kulik looking to attack these Sharks hitters. Did so in the first, but just fell victim to some great base running from Martha's Vineyard. The 1-2 misses outside. Lewis moves over to his right to make the stop. And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and nobody away. This is a Newport pitching staff that through 3 games has punched out 38 victims. Right now at 39, if you count the strikeout back in the first from Lybrook, but they've been able to be efficient in getting outs, and it helps in situations when you have runners in scoring position with 1 or no outs, bases loaded, and they've been able to limit the damage in those situations. There's another strikeout of the day, number 2 for Kulik as he punches out Gundner for out number 1.
And it's going to be crucial for the Gulls to get a couple of stops early on, as yesterday we saw Mystic go up early, and luckily the Gulls were able to come back from that, but it definitely created an uphill battle for the Gulls offense to come back from that. So limiting the damage here early for the Gulls will be crucial.
And the Gulls were battling all game long. They put plenty of runners on, but stranded 9 or 10 in the first 5 innings as there's a spinner down the right side that gets away from P.D. Kraska. And that'll put a runner on. It's a jam shot from the righty Cincinnati, and it looked like Kraska had a good beat on it and just jumped to the left of him and caught him off balance.
Not a play you see every day, is that,
No,
Kevin?
I mean, that certainly had some English on it.
Absolutely. I mean, Kraska was moving relatively slow towards him and just got fooled by that spin.
And it wasn't like he moved too quickly towards the ball. He had plenty of time and squared up, and then the ball took 2 hops on the opposite way, and it's just so tough to make that kind of read when the ball comes at you that slow and with that much spin, and that will put Cincinnati on with 1 out. And there's a hit to the right side over the head of Garbowski. Cincinnati will stay at second, so Martha's Vineyard will go station to station here with 1 down in the top of the second, and after a second straight inning where Kulik was able to retire the first hitter, the Sharks are battling and threatening here in the second.
It's got to feel good for Matt Scolo, his first knockout of the summer. See if the double leadoff man can continue this movement on the base paths.
And here's Hamal George, former Alabama State University player, played in his first season at Texas A&M this season. He appeared in 30-some-odd games for the Aggies. 34 to be exact, the .231 average. He watches ball 1 upstairs. And Hamal George listed as a switch hitter, but sitting in the righty batter's box against the righty Kulik as home plate umpire Keith Peterson takes a foul ball off the shoulder, it might have been, as you see Dre Lewis take a walk out to Kulik. That one just so hard for a catcher like Lewis to try to track down off a ricochet, and unfortunately getting a piece of the home plate umpire.
Absolutely, Dre Lewis giving him some time by stepping out to the mounds. Field umpires Brendan Petrowski and William Bowers coming to check on Keith Peterson. Make sure he's all right. Looks like he is.
He'll shake it off. Looking tough behind home plate. You got to appreciate the work these umpires do in the summer, just trying to get the reps in as well. I mean, it's not just the players, but it could be the umpires and the coaches and a lot of people just trying to get involved in the game of baseball and keep that going through the summer months when there isn't anything organized going on at the collegiate level, besides the NCAA tournament, of course. And Hamal George fouls one off yet again near our camera operator there, who is doing a good job, Joe, there, holding in tight. He's all set. There we go. 1 ball, 2 strikes to George. Strikeout number 3. Tipped into the glove of Lewis. He makes the squeeze, and now 2 are down here in a second.
You touched on 2-out rallies earlier. If there's any man to start a 2-out rally for Martha's Vineyard Sharks, it's the man digging into the plate right now, Braden Martin.
Here comes Martin, who got aggressive at the dish after watching a couple to start off the game. He grounded out to Randy Seymour to the left side, but open stance. You see he gets down to first base very quickly as he watches ball 1 in the dirt. That was kind of that cutter changeup we've seen from Kulik. As, man, the fog really making a difference now as it rolls into the outfield. You can tell on the TV stream here that it's definitely thickened up a little bit. 1-0 pitch is a backdoor breaking ball that finds a home in the mid of Lewis and in for a strike to even the count up. And Kulik, to his credit, Matt, has done a great job of battling back in situations where they've let up a couple of hits at a time, or whether it's an RBI infield single that saw some great base running. He's been able to battle back very well.
Absolutely, and he's doing a good job of fighting off with 2 runners on base right now. And a lot of that is due to the infield and the outfield, like Kraska, who had that catch that got lined out in the first inning, and now just 1 out away to close out top of the second.
1 out away, 1 strike away now as the count goes to 1-2 as Martin looks to keep the rally alive and tack on another one for the Sharks. The pitch misses in the dirt, but a good spot for Kulik to try to get the leadoff man to chase, but bat does not come off the shortstop's shoulders. 2 walks on the year for Martin, potentially trying to draw a third. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on, 1 in scoring position at second in Cincinnati. As there's a ball hit down the left field line and down for a base hit. It spins towards the bullpen, and it's going to be a double. So staying at third will be Mascolo, and digging into second is Braden Martin. An RBI ground rule double, you can say, as it got into the bullpen and out of play. And that plates another run for the Sharks, and now 2 are in scoring position for Martha's Vineyard.
Hard to see from our angle where that ball exactly went, but could have been a very smart play by Ryan Novak as Mascolo was rounding third.
Yeah, Mascolo certainly would have scored if it wasn't for the call, but as it kept going down the left field line, the bullpen is in play for both teams back in the left field corner, so the ball escapes out of play into that designated area. They just call it a double and move on to the next batter, but Kulik, although he's let up 2 and 1 in each inning, it could be worse at this moment, as it looked like Mascolo certainly could have scored on that hit down the line. The Sharks now up 2-0, and Newport trailing for the second game in a row. This time a backdoor breaking ball finds its home in the zone for strike number 1.
A very important batter here for Kulik. Obviously don't want to see that deficit balloon past 2.
Certainly not, as he sees the damage right in front of him on third, Mascolo on second. It's Martin as the ball fouled down the right field line. It's 1-2. So again, a pitcher's count for Kulik. It's been the put-away pitch that has been hot and cold. He's been able to punch out a couple Sharks, but also has left a couple over the plate that Martha's Vineyard has taken advantage of. We'll see what the call here is between that fastball, cutter, and slider. Pitch upstairs. Back to 2, 2, 2, and 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on. But now Kulik was put himself in a little bit of a hole. We'll try to battle back versus Will Hampton, who walked the first time up. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 4, but the Sharks add another one to their total. It's 2-0 Martha's Vineyard. The Gulls, who went 1-2-3 in the first, look to switch the narrative in the second from Cardines Field. Chase Kick back to work, and we saw him perform really well versus the top 3 hitters for Newport, all of which got multiple hits yesterday. So a great start for a Kick against a good 1-2-3 for Newport, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. And trying to keep this momentum going and keep that goose egg on the board for Newport. Not going to be easy, though. As mentioned, this Newport Gulls offense has woken up, averaging 11 runs over these last 2 games.
And that was after a 3-hit, no-run offensive performance on Tuesday versus the Valley Blue Sox, who currently lead the division, the Southern Division, that Martha's Vineyard and Newport share. Newport a half game out. The Sharks just 1 behind the Blue Sox. A different 4-hole hitter. This time it's Ryan Novak, who was in the 6-hole yesterday. Stecco, the first couple of games, has been that man in the cleanup spot, but he bounces down to the 8-hole as Novak goes up 2-1. And although Ryan hasn't gotten a hit this year for Newport, he's been super patient and has drawn a team high 5 walks through 3 games. He fouls 1 off and the count evens up. Newport has shown when you put base runners on, good things happen. In the first, not even a threat, as there was a strikeout and a couple flyouts to surrender the first 3 hitters to Kick. Hopes to keep his stat sheet clean against the Newport offense that has done damage the last couple of games. Fastball high and tight, the count runs full. Payoff pitch, catches the inside corner. Novak disagrees, it does not matter. Strikeout number 2 on the evening and out number 1 here in the home half of the second.
What a way to get started in the second inning for Chase Kick.
He's been able to locate extremely well with fastball. We saw a changeup in an A1 spot where it's really hard for a hitter to get out in front of a pitch that's a little slower on the inside knee. Now here comes Dre Lewis, who has impressed at the dish through his first 3 games. 5 hits, which is tied for a team high as he watches ball 1 inside. As he crowds that plate on the left side. Newport again with a off-balance lineup with 6 lefties in the 9 of the lineup card for the Gulls, including 5 straight from Petey Kraska to Kyle Garbowski. Dre Lewis sandwiched in the middle of those 5 as he hits a high pop fly into center field. Back goes Hampton. It keeps carrying at the wall. It's caught by Hampton in center as that one wanted to hurry out of the fence, but it stays in play. And an F8 on the score sheet is out number 2.
Yeah, this fog adding a degree of difficulty for those outfielders.
Certainly. For us as well. I mean, I thought that was a pretty standard pop fly, but the wind behind us kept pushing that ball and pushing it into left center. Hampton was impressively able to track it down and make the grab with relative ease when it looked like it might have been extra bases. Now here comes Will Fosberg out of Northeastern, his first at-bat of the season in Newport Gull Orange. Your freshman out of Natick, Mass. He started in 36 games as he ropes one down the right field line in foul. Unfortunate. He got right ahead of Kick, who hasn't faced much damage, and going back to the dish will be Fosberg.
Yeah, that ball was absolutely smoked down that right field line. Hardest contact we've seen off Kick yet today.
Yes, certainly, and you hope to see more of that from Fosberg in the DH role, but also a catcher at Northeastern, so we'd be able to complement Mac McCommons, who takes a seat today, and Dre Lewis, who's behind home plate for Newport. And it's crucial to have that depth we saw yesterday in Mystic. Davis Johnson, the starting catcher for the Schooners, went down in the first inning after a backswing from Ty Secco, hit him in the head.
Oof.
And that brought in Alex Levesque, who got shaken up a couple times, but he couldn't come out because the Schooners had no other catchers behind him. So he had to battle through that game. He went 1 for 5, Levesque did, but a couple moments when you kind of hold your breath because if he goes down, who's your next guy? So that third catcher, crucial for Newport for that depth of this team. as now they have an extra guy in McCommons now in the dugout behind Lewis and Fosberg today. The count quickly fills up for Will as he gets rung up on a fastball in the outside corner, and that will do it. 6 up, 6 down through 2 innings for Chase Keck. He deals for Martha's Vineyard. We go to the top of the third. Newport with work to do, but got to hold the Sharks offense to nothing. We'll see if they can do that on the other side of this break here from Cardinals Field. Top of the third inning, Newport trails by a pair, but we have our sideline reporter, Veronica Borelli, down on the field. Veronica, what do you have for us?
Welcome back to Cardinals Field. I'm Veronica Borelli, and we're here in Newport with the Gulls as they take on the Martha's Vineyard Sharks. Should be a good game tonight, so back to you guys in the booth.
Veronica, thank you so much. For those just tuning in, it was a run scored in each of the first 2 for the Sharks as they were able to use an error in the second and a walk that turned into a runner in scoring position in the first to score their run. So although they have an extra base hit, they're still kind of playing that small ball that saw success last night, 10 runs against Bristol, and now already 2 runs as we head into the third.
Yeah, Lybrook actually set the tone in the first game in that 3-hit loss. Did not play in the second game, but went 1 for 1 with 3 walks. So maybe he inspired a little bit of this patience at the plate from the Sharks.
He might have, as they're doing a good job of, again, being patient, waiting for their pitch. And when they've gotten it, they've succeeded. A single from Mascolo and then a double from Martin. Cashed in a run for the Sharks last time through. It's 1-1, your count with no outs and no one on. Pitch from Kulik is fouled.
Yeah, Lybrook ahead of that one.
Last time up, there was a strikeout swinging for the first baseman. Lybrook out of Harvard. In his 6th plate appearance of the season, the young season at that. The 1-2 will do it all over again following the foul tip. Back into the netting. With that, I'd like to remind you that Netting Professionals is the official netting partner of the New England League. Their netting and wall padding products have been featured in Major League Baseball venues such as Citi Field and Truist Park and many collegiate facilities throughout the country. As the 1-2 is swung on and missed for strike number 3, and although he's let up 2 runs, 5 strikeouts on the evening for Marcel Kulik. Some of those universities that use netting professionals include Florida, North Carolina, Binghamton, Texas, and many more. From design to fabrication to installation, Netting Pros is improving programs one facility at a time. And now that brings up Jack Killalea, who had an RBI single, an infield RBI single back in the first that scored a runner from second. He sends one into left field and a charge at that. This one is going to be off the wall. Playing it is Novak in a stand-up double for Jack Killalea, his 2nd hit of the ballgame.
Yeah, that ball was absolutely mashed to left center field. I thought it was out, and then I realized how tall that fence is out there.
Yeah, it's about 20 to 25 feet in height, and you just could hear it off the bat how hard that was hit. Killalea taking advantage of Kulik for yet a 2nd time. This time, instead of keeping it in the infield, he wants to give some love to the outfield, and Novak was able to get the ball in time to keep Killalea at 2nd, and with 1 out here as a runner in scoring position for Carson Hepworth. We saw a near perfect night in terms of weather, clear skies on Wednesday night. Here on this Friday evening, though, the fog has been a main factor. As this ball shot to the right side, but Garbowski makes the grab. No play over at 2nd. A quick out number 2. Good for Kulik to bounce back following the double from Killalea.
And you mentioned Kulik's 5th strikeout so far, which actually ties his career high this past season at Virginia Tech, which he notched 5 strikeouts against James Madison in February.
So you can tell Kulik obviously finding a bit of a zone Although he's let up a couple of hits, outside of that, he's been great. As that one's flared over the head of Petey Kraska, down for a base hit. Rounding third is Kilauea. There's not a throw as the right fielder, Shane Williams, muffled with the ball at his feet in shallow right field, and it's an RBI single for Harley Goodner, and now it's 3-0 Sharks.
Sharks doing a great job capitalizing with 2 outs yet again.
That's the third straight run scored with 2 outs. They're doing a great job of battling throughout the innings at the dish. It's 3 runs on 5 hits for Martha's Vineyard through 2 2/3. Runner on first is Goodner, who is now 1 for 2 on the evening. Gives way to Kyle Cincinnati, who watches strike number 1. He reached on an error from Petey Kraska on a spinny line drive to the first baseman who couldn't handle it. Came around to score on that Braden Martin double. 0-1 pitch, back picked in the dirt by Lewis. Takes a look down at first, nothing doing. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner on first is Goodner. The pitch to Cincinnati's high and away. And whether you're an Island resident or planning a summer getaway, the fastest way to get to the Cape and Islands is by taking the New England League's preferred partner, the Steamship Authority Ferry. Visit steamshipauthority.com for more information. As a ferry was the way of travel from Martha's Vineyard to Newport today, along with a bus ride as the 2-1 finds the zone for strike 2.
Absolutely, that steamship ride, always fun. Really the first time for many of these guys. Sat out on the deck watching it. Unfortunately, stops running at 9:45 p.m., so we're going to have to take a mailboat back tonight.
Hey, got to do what you got to do in summer baseball. You got to tell me how that one is, because we might be making the same travel back when we're in Martha's Vineyard on the 14th. That one next Saturday. Newport will play on the island of Martha's Vineyard, so might have a similar situation, and so that could be very interesting.
Absolutely.
So maybe give me some tips and a review of what to pack for that trip on the way back. It's a full count with 2 outs, so you expect Goodner to run on the kick. From Kulik. He goes, the pitch, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for Kulik, but he lets up yet another run as the Sharks have scored in each of the 3 innings. They've been up to the dish. Now it's time for Newport to see if they can get the bats off the rack and plate some runners themselves as we head to the home half of the 3rd. Vineyard 3, Newport 0 from Cardines Field.
Oh, yeah.
Here in Cardines Field, as it looks like there might be a fog delay as the coaches from each side are meeting down the first base line, and the Martha's Vineyard Sharks defense is coming off the field. And so a delay here at Cardines Field, not due to rain or any storm, but instead fog rolling in here in Newport, Rhode Island, as we've got a pause here between the Sharks and the Gulls. Sharks, again, up 3-0. The Gulls offense has been quiet. And Liam, it's been impressive to see how Martha's Vineyard has been able to attack Kulik, who has shown lots of bright spots. 6 strikeouts, a good put-away pitch, but when he's been up in counts or early in counts, he's been leaving a couple balls over the heart of the plate that Martha's Vineyard hasn't missed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, situational hitting, putting the ball in play, really the Sharks doing all they can to try to crowd these base paths, and it's worked so far. As you mentioned, 3 runs across for the Sharks. Unfortunately, this fog putting a little bit of dampen on this great night we have. It's one of the many features of this New England Baseball League. As you mentioned early in the summer, really never know what you're going to get with this.
No, it could be
weather.
sunny. You know, you got to the ballpark 3 hours ago. It was 67, 68 degrees, partly cloudy, if not any clouds at all. Sunny skies. It was a little humid this morning, and then that all went away.
Absolutely. Didn't see any fog coming over here on the ride.
And if anyone would see it, it'd be you guys on the water there. And so now as it turns from afternoon to evening, the fog rolling in, and it's become so much of an issue that we got a stoppage here from Cardines Field. We'll step aside and learn a little more about what's going on here. We'll be back as soon as we can with more information here as the Gulls up at the plate here in the bottom of the third, but not before a fog delay from Cardines Field. You're watching the New England League. Well, folks, thanks for sticking with us as a brief fog delay has cleared up. We got baseball on our hands now here from the Classic Coast in Newport, Rhode Island. The Gulls trail Martha's Vineyard 3-0 after the Sharks have plated 1 in each inning they've been up. They've been doing it slowly but surely. Now Newport has a chance to get their first runs on the board, but so far they haven't even put a base runner on. So it seems like they got to start with just putting one on, Matt, and work from there.
There's been a lot of good contacts made by the Gulls so far. Just none have dropped or went over the fence yet. Haven't got a ton of runners on bases. And credit to, Catch, sorry.
Yeah, Chase Kick did a great job, 3 strikeouts, but you are right. There's a couple fly balls, one out to left field and center field in the first and second innings where we thought those might have been gap shots, if not home runs, but they've held in the park. And now we may have a little easier time seeing what's going on with the fog cleared out. We were actually talking, Liam, about how, fog is weird. It can disappear in a second, but it likes to stay put a lot.
Absolutely.
But, as the temperature drops a couple degrees here, as it goes from afternoon to evening, it only took about 5, maybe 10 minutes for it all to go away. And now clear skies here in Rhode Island. Almost.
Best type of announcer, Jinx. We play ball.
Exactly. And so we thought we might have had to hunker in for a lengthier delay, but instead it's only a handful of minutes. That puts up Kyle Garbowski along with Ty Secco, Shane Williams, due up 7, 8, 9 of this Gulls lineup. This third inning as the count evens up at a ball and a strike, and we'll see how it affects Kick. I mean, not much of a delay, but he went from, scheduled time dealing in the first 2 innings, a little bit of a delay, but he was able to get back on the mound, throw a couple warm-up pitches before taking on Garbowski. That ball hits the right side, and making the play is George. Goes on to first, barely beating out Garbowski, who almost made his way down the first base line. We talked about it in the break. George, who was at short to start the season, moves back over to second.
Yeah, they switched the middle infield. Martin, who played a lot of the outfield last year for the Sharks, was at second base. After that slightly embarrassing 6-error performance in the first game, they switch it up, and it's been working.
And luckily for Martha's Vineyard, it was the first game where they had 6 errors. Able to bounce back in the win yesterday. No errors on the field. So that's as good as a turnaround as you can expect for in the field. And so every team likes to shake the cobwebs off. It's a bad sign when that's 4, 5, 6 errors are compiling in late June, mid-July, and then you're thinking to yourselves, what's going on here? But get him out early seems to be the case for the Sharks, who have done a great job since at batting down the hatches in the fielding department as the count moves to 1-2 following the foul ball from Stecco, who was moved from the cleanup spot to the 8 hole. And Stecco, although he did not get a hit yesterday, he reached twice from a walk, got an RBI walk, and then a 6-3 fielder's choice RBI ground out. And he swings and misses at strike number 3 as Kick gets him on the high heat. Strikeout number 4 on the evening, and Stecco goes down and brings up Shane Williams, who got quite the applause from the fans here at Cardines Field as he goes to school at Salve Regina. Will continue to do so throughout the season, you expect, as the 9-hole hitter for the 4th game in a row to start out the young season for Shane Williams. But he's a very valuable piece to this lineup for the Gulls. We talked about it at length all season long, the ability to be patient at the plate, draw walks, get hits. He's got power as well and speed on the bases. He's a 5-tool player for the Gulls out in right field and shows it in his first couple of ABs we've seen from him this year as he goes up 2-0 on kick.
Shows how valuable that 9-hole is, putting such a talented player there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a guy that can easily be 2, 3, 4, 5 of this Gulls lineup. He's been sitting at that 9-hole spot. He's embraced that role as he fouls one off the mask of the catcher, Killalea.
Such an underestimated recipe to winning is humility. These guys taking whatever role is given to them and just playing for the team and the name on the front of their jerseys.
Williams, one of those guys who, again, could be in the middle of the lineup, but with a Newport roster that when it fills out will have plenty of Division I and Power 4 talent from players that have played in NCAA regionals and high leverage spots in conference tournaments. It's tough to find a spot, but even though Williams, a Division III player for Salve, still one of the best hitters on the team as he shows off that contact to center field, a hard hit ball for a 2-out single, the first base runner of the evening for Newport.
Yeah, Kick's perfect streak ends at the 9th batter.
I know.
Almost made it all the way through.
You like to make the jinx, obviously, but when you get it out of the way early on, and it kind of loosens everyone in the broadcast booth up. I mean, we saw yesterday how Cade O'Leary was 8 out of 9 pitches through an immaculate inning, and we had some people in the Mystic Schooner booth talking about, immaculate inning, and then it's ended there. So when you get the jinx out of the way early, loosens us up. And now with the runner on first, not much of a hard time for anyone here about Kick and what he was doing on the mound, doing a great job of mowing down Newport Gulls hitters. But now that double leadoff spot just so crucial because it brings up the top of the order in Matt Bolton, who is facing a 1-1 count.
See if the Gulls can follow suit with the Sharks and score some runs with 2 outs.
It's really important to not lay down just because there's a 2 in the out column as we have a pick over at first. A quick move from the righty. You don't see that often. The righty has to really have a very fast move but controlled as well, and we saw it just flow right there for Kick on the mound like a seasoned vet. Runner going. The ball is dropped by Killalea, and so a stolen base from Shane Williams. Another game with the swipe bag for the Salve Regina product, as now a runner standing in scoring position for the Gulls. And now Matt Bolton, who faces a 2-1 count, a mini hitters count here against Kick. A base hit would most likely score Williams at second. Two-one pitch. Breaking ball back door, does not find the zone. So now it's 3-1. We'll see how aggressive Bolton gets at the dish, looking to cut into the deficit for the Newport Gulls. 3-1 is ripped down the right field line. Will it stay fair? It will not, off the shed. The second time today that a Newport Gull has found that piece, and so heading from home to second is Williams as he'll reset.
Somebody's got to
the fans and the PA and everyone thought we had a run score, but first base umpire down there waves his hands foul, as now it's a full count and just pulls the air out of the fans here in Cardines Field.
Everybody excited for the first run to come across. Shane Williams didn't want to go back.
It certainly didn't. He was already in the dugout.
Yep.
Catching up with his teammates. See what he missed while he was gone on the bags. Runner goes. It's fouled off, and Williams continuing to be aggressive, and he loves to take advantage of a situation like that, whether it's a timeout, a pause, or a situation where we have a foul ball that makes everyone reset to run right on the jump and catch a pitcher and catcher duo off guard on the other side. We'll see if he does it again. A payoff pitch incoming here from Kick. Inside, ball 4. And so a single and a stolen base followed by a walk puts 2 runners on for Newport. And Randy Seymour There's no one else you'd want up besides Seymour, followed by Kraska in this situation. Two veterans, two guys that have shown they can hit the ball for power and for contact. And the way Kraska covers the plate on deck is something that you see from a high power 4 hitter, but at North Alabama made a statement and made records for the Lions in the Atlantic Sun as Seymour watches ball 1 on the outer half.
Kick losing a little bit of momentum with his placement here. Last 2 batters, both 3-ball counts.
Yep. Kick's being able to get up. Now Seymour, someone nuts to be patient. We'll see what he does. He sends it to left center field. It's a high fly ball ranging over his both outfielders at the wall. Does he make the sliding grab in the center field? Hampton, he does. Oh, man. We were waiting for the call from the umpires, and Hampton, another time where he makes a great play in center field, takes a couple of runs off the board for Newport.
Long run that time for Hampton, makes the catch on the slide, and saves a couple of runs.
Moves over to his right,
Wow.
makes the grab, and as he hits the ground, there was a question of whether he held on to it. He does, and makes the grab. And so Newport, although they threatened, comes up empty-handed in the third. We'll head to the top of the fourth where Liam Stevens will take over for a couple innings from Cardines Field. Newport down a trio here against the Sharks. Don't go anywhere.
We're back here at Cardines Field. Martha's Vineyard Sharks lead it 3-0. Gulls leave 2 on base in the bottom of that third. New arm on the bump for the Gulls is Max DeBeck. Can we get an inside on this new righty for the Gulls?
Well, DeBeck, this isn't his first time playing for Newport this season, but the first time on the mound. He spent the first 2 games starting at first base, and he had a great one at home last time around. Knocked in 2 RBIs, a couple of hits the pitcher had at first base for Newport in the lineup. Now, finally on the mound is what he did mostly at Michigan this past year. He hasn't done two-way in quite some time, a couple of years. And so now, finally back on the mound, maybe a little more comfortable, Matt, here on the bump.
Absolutely. Not his usual spot in first base, like you said, back on the bump. But it's been quite the journey for DeBeck to get to Newport, Rhode Island. Originally from Seattle, Washington, he started his college career at Washington, then did his sophomore year at Texas A&M, redshirted there, went to Folsom Lake College, and then ended up in Ann Arbor with the Blue.
Yeah, journeyman at that. We can close the line on Marcel Kulik. 3 innings, 1 hit. Excuse me, that's the other way around. That's a kick. I'm looking at the wrong line here. Apologies. 3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. A walk, but 6 strikeouts.
6 Ks.
So he was able to be efficient with the strikeout, which Newport pitchers have been doing in the first couple of games. But, again, letting up 3 runs, 2 earned. So Newport's got work to do.
DeBeck's first batter face, Cole Mascolo. Lefty left fielder. Singled sharply to center in his first at-bat. Followed by him will be the double leadoff man, Hamal George. Then the top of the lineup in Braden Martin. Mascolo fouls the first one back. Second pitch. Breaking ball. Nicked Mascolo somewhere, maybe on the shin, maybe on the knee. Doesn't really matter. He throws his batting apparel over to the side and takes first base.
And after coming into this game with a couple of strikeouts, not getting on base at all, in his first 2 at-bats, he's gone single hit by a pitch. And so that's kind of the ideal step that you take following a struggling game, just be a little more patient. Of course, he hopped on a fastball from Kulik back in the second where he singled right away, but then getting hit by a pitch. Getting on base is kind of where you want to start off, especially if you're in a little bit of a slump.
Hamal George fouls that one straight back. Hamal donning those purple Franklin batting gloves, matching the Vineyard color, Franklin Sports, the official batting glove of the New England League. This summer, the Sharks and Gulls will join over 200 major leaguers by stepping up to the plate with Franklin batting gloves. Gear up at franklinsports.com and become part of the most trusted batting glove in baseball. Seems to be a slight delay. Unfortunately, we do have to report about this fog. It's making a slight resurgence. DeBeck looks frustrated on the mound as he was just getting his first outing on the bump going. They're bringing in the fielders, so we will head back to a weather delay. Hopefully it's as short as the first one or shorter. We'll be right back after this. Fog is overpowering here at Cardines Field, and the game has been called. It will be suspended for the next time these two teams face. There's 2 opportunities in these next matchups.
Well, they play 6 times this season, but the next time that these two teams play at their respective ballparks is where we're going to take a look at where this game gets resumed. So it starts tonight at June 6, 2025. The next time these two teams meet will be in Martha's Vineyard next Saturday at 6:30, and so maybe an opportunity to play before that. But if the rules in the NACBL are almost certain you have to play at the same ballpark or be the safe situation where Newport is the home team, in that case, Newport's next home game versus the Sharks is next month on the 7th of July. So that is a Monday following the 4th of July weekend that we could see a mini doubleheader. So we'll keep you guys updated. I'm sure Martha's Vineyard would have their own release as well as Newport on when this game will be resumed exactly. But right now, it is a 3-0 ball game. Newport 2-1, Vineyard still 1-1 as well. So that's going to be kind of strange to update as we go throughout the season, but just the quirks of summer baseball. But
absolutely,
it's a run around first in Cole Mascolo from a hit by pitch, and Hamal George will have an 0-1 count facing pitcher Max DeBeck. And so everyone has to resume to the exact same spots before anything is changed. That's going to be interesting to see how these two teams adjust, but I'm assuming they obviously go forward with their season. When they come back to this game, they come back with those lineups. It's going to be a little interesting to see where these teams are at respectively at those times. Just again, another part of summer baseball, another part of weather, especially early on in the year when it's a lot less predictable as those summer months when you get into July and it's mostly sunshine. If not, if there is weather, it's a washout, but for the most part, it's a lot of sun. So an unfortunate ending to tonight, but it will be resumed, thankfully, Liam. And so these two teams will get back at it in just 8 days, but where this game resumes, we'll let you know.
Absolutely, and Newport gets second life after struggling. Only 1 hit through these 3 innings. 6 meetings between these two teams for the rest of the season, so the action will not stop. The fun won't stop either. Unfortunately, this New England weather puts a hold on things for tonight.
A temporary hold.
Temporary hold.
Liam, but
you hate to see something like this happen, especially with Little League night. It had
you have a lot of people
bunch
here.
of young kids coming out. Stands were basically full, and now have to suspend the game. It's unfortunate.
We'll suspend the game at that. We'll keep our scorebooks open for an unknown amount of time, so that's going to be interesting to see. But that will do it for our broadcast tonight, a production of ESPN Plus here on NACBL Baseball from Cardines Field. It's a paused game, 3-0 Vineyard leads. That game will resume at a later date. We'll see you next time here in Newport on Monday night as the Gulls host the Valley Blue Sox. The Gulls have an off day tomorrow before going on the road to take on Bristol on Sunday while Martha's Vineyard. They will head back home, but temporarily, as they'll go up to Keene tomorrow night to take on the Swamp Bats. From our crew here in Newport and alongside Liam Stevens and Matt Tiernan, I'm Gavin Bishow. A game stoppage that will be resumed at a later date between Newport and Vineyard. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight. We'll talk to you soon. Take care now.